Well, greetings, everybody. My name is Pastor Mike Jones of Harvest Community Church in the Centerpoint area of Birmingham. I would have loved to have been there with you tonight, but today my wife and I celebrate our 37th wedding anniversary. And as much as I love Dr. Frank Barker, I love my wife just a little bit more. So we're not able to be there with you tonight, but I would like to give a brief tribute to Dr. Barker and the impact that he has made in my life. I got to Birmingham in 1984 to work with Campus Crusade for Christ, specifically Here's Life Birmingham, a ministry of Crusade here in town. And I met Dr. Barker for the first time, and I was struck by a couple of things. Number one, how personable he was, and number two, how committed he was to sharing his faith with other people. And so later on in the 1980s, I took my first course at BTS. I believe it was 1987. Tommy Saunders, who served as president of the seminary for a number of years, told me that he believes that from start to finish, I took longer than any other BTS student to complete my degree. I took my first course in 1987 and finished my degree in the year 2000. And that was significant because in the mid-1990s, Dr. Barker said, "Now, Michael, you're going to have to hurry up and finish this degree because we want you to come and teach." And from the year 2000 until now, I've taught New Testament at the seminary, in large part because Dr. Barker encouraged me to do so. Probably one of my favorite Dr. Barker stories is years ago, I was in Chattanooga, Tennessee, getting ready for a board meeting at Covenant College. One of the other board members that I did not know was downstairs in the lobby of the hotel, and he says, "Mike Jones, I hear you're from Birmingham." And I said, "Yes, sir." He says, "Do you know Dr. Frank Barker?" I said, "Yes, sir." He says, "Well, let me tell you my favorite Dr. Barker story." He's a pastor down in Florida, and he was meeting with another pastor who was very, very discouraged in his ministry. And this particular pastor said, "I tell you what I'm going to do to give you some encouragement. I'm going to pay your way to Birmingham, and I'm going to call Dr. Frank Barker and allow you to spend an entire week with him, just following him and shadowing him with whatever he does. And I guarantee you'll come back having learned a few things, and you'll come back excited about your ministry." Well, he did that. He invested into this pastor, and this pastor comes up and spends a whole week with Dr. Barker. And after that week was over, he goes back to Florida, and he has lunch with this pastor that paid his way. And the pastor is very, very excited and says, "Okay, you went to Birmingham, you spent time with Dr. Frank Barker. What did you learn?" And this pastor said, "I learned absolutely nothing." The other pastor said, "Well, what do you mean you didn't learn anything? You followed him around, didn't you?" He says, "Yes, I followed him around, but all he did was pray, share his faith, meet with people, and teach Bible study. That's all he did." And this pastor says, "Oh my goodness, you missed the whole thing. All he did was pray, share his faith, meet with people, and teach Bible study." And so what I picked up from Dr. Barker is that in addition to having a first-class, thorough theological education and seminary, you have to be committed to personal ministry. You have to be committed to sharing your faith and meeting with people. You have to be committed to prayer and teaching the Word of God so that the average person can not only understand it, but apply it to their lives. And so Dr. Barker was a model for me in that respect. I remember when our church first got started, he met with a group of church planters on a monthly basis. And it wasn't anything formal. We would meet in his office. He would ask us what was going on. And with each person sharing, he would have a recommendation, a word of counsel, a word of feedback, or a word of encouragement. And for me, I needed that. And to this day, our church is 20 6 years old, in large part because of the investment that Dr. Frank Barker made in me so that I can make that investment in other people. It was as if Dr. Barker lived out that verse that says, "Follow me as I follow Jesus Christ." I am forever grateful. I'm forever appreciative, and I love the Barkers. God bless you, and I hope that you have a wonderful time honoring these men, Dr. Frank Barker and Dr. Bill Hay, for the investment that they have made not only in a few lives, but hundreds of lives, not only in Birmingham, but around the world. God bless you. Continue to have this wonderful evening until we meet again. Pastor Mike Jones, Harvest Community Church in the Center Point area of Birmingham. Thank you.